Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, your one and only Andrew Miller, joined by my two lovely co-hosts, as always, Billings, Mr. Chris Billings, and Mr. Tony Reyes in the house. We are going to be bringing you another. Well, let me slow down here. I get a little excited sometimes in the morning. I got the jitters. Let me introduce these two. So, Billings, what's been going on, sir?
How's it going, y'all? Week 2 NFL. That's pretty much all I've been doing the last week is working and watching football and watching some Big Brother, I will admit.
Some new Big Brother content, huh? Okay. Tony Reyes, the man, the myth, and the bookie. Well, no, I'm sorry. Billings is a bookie. We're all sorts of fun.
Former bookie. Arizona has legal betting now.
So Tony's been putting some bets in. Tony Parlay is live and going on. What's been going on, sir?
Making money. Small dollars right now, but slowly but surely building that bankroll, baby.
You finally understand the quote. Some of us are getting paid dollars and some of us are getting paid nickels. It's all about those small victories. Nice. It's a better tone than you were having last year. Oh, that's pretty good because your name is Tone. But
there you go.
So you've been winning. What was one of the better payouts? What was the better calls that you had last weekend, sir?
I would have to go ahead and give the nod to Billings, giving me that Raiders upset on Monday night, which was probably like the biggest one where I did not think would happen. And somehow he just was on it. And that was probably like the biggest upset win of the week.
It's nice when you get in front of
home doggies. Woo, woo.
Raiders are gonna Raider. Okay. Let's talk about our week 1. We did talk about the Raider game here, and I think some of us got it right. I think a lot of us got the rest of it wrong. Oh, I don't have the picks up right here. I do have the totals.
Bring them up right here. This is great radio, by the way.
This is great radio. I can totally we could cut this out.
So we all picked the Raiders.
Nice.
The Raiders.
Wow, it's very surprising. And what an upset! What an upset! Some would just call it a win.
Actually, no, straight up, I was the only one that picked the Raiders. You both picked the Ravens.
Yeah, that's what
I thought I changed that.
I was wondering about that.
You probably changed it to the wrong one.
True.
You were probably waiting to get some more info before you put your pick in.
True.
Done. So let's talk about our pick'ems. Let's talk spreads. Last week we had Mr. Chris Billings coming in first with a 10-5-1. Sir, one. How did we get a tie?
Got ourselves a push in Vikings Bengals with -3.
Very nice. And I see coming up the rear, Mr. Tony Reyes with 7-8-1.
That's actually you. You just pointed out yourself.
Wow. The dyslexia is good and going on this morning. 8-7-1 is Mr. Tony. And I came up third in the spread again. That is 7-8-1. Tony, tell me what the biggest upset of your week 1 was. Like, what did you just not see happening?
The biggest upset of week 1, the good one, I'd probably say the Cardinals going to Nashville and just destroying the Titans, making them look like a freaking high school team. 5 sacks from Chandler Jones, just like completely abusing that team. Derrick Henry is still like chilling, screwing fantasy teams everywhere.
Oh, excuse me. I think they call him Derrick Henry the Yeti. So he needs it to be colder for him to come out of hibernation. Or like he's kind of sleeping still. So once it gets colder and he then wakes up, he will then be destroying people with that stiff arm that we all love to see.
He's also very much a momentum back. Like he has to build throughout the season. And then once he gets going, he's pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, those legs don't look like they're churning, but for some reason he just like takes off, but it's like it's a very much a momentum thing there. Let's get into the straight up picks. And I don't think I'm going to read this one wrong because that has Mr. Andrew Miller with a 10-6 record on just straight up pick'ems. Man, if I would have done this in the office league, I might have had a chance. The guy that won week 1 got 11 right. 11 of those games right week 1. Took a nice little pot home, I will say. $10 buy-in, pretty decent. Coming up second, we do have Tony, and I'm not going to read this wrong. You guys are both tied at 9-7 on the pick'ems. What was the one game that I picked differently from you two?
Let's see here. So you did end up picking the Jet. Well, those are spreads. So yeah, it just Tony ended up picking the Eagles in that Falcons game. That was a big difference.
Wow, you silly goose.
You ended up picking the Chargers. That helped you as well.
Go Chargers, go.
And picking the Chiefs and Dolphins helped you as well.
Washington fraud squad. What? Okay.
Yep. This NFC.
Not on Thursday.
Yep. So what do you guys think? We've seen 1 week. We've seen a little bit of a week 2 preview. But overall of your week 1, we can get into the winners and losers here. Chris, who is your biggest winner? Well, let's go bronze. Let's start slow. We'll give out medals here. Let's go with we'll go with bronze, silver, gold for this for your winners this week.
So for my bronze medalist of week 1, I had Dak Prescott. Came out last Thursday before last Thursday, and like looked good. Like Cowboys lost that game, but it definitely wasn't on Dak. He came out and performed as best he could and took every opportunity he could. So giving it to Dak. Looks like he's back. And so that's going to be up for the Cowboys team to start building around him.
Would you say Dak is back?
I would say Dak is back.
I'm so cheesy this morning. Okay. Tony, let's move on. Let's get all third place here. Tony, give me your biggest I'm sorry, give me your bronze.
Tyrod Taylor, Houston Texans looking like a functional organization, peaking for their season in week 1. Totally normal. Predicting it. That whole Deshaun Watson situation just getting swept under the rug there. And Tyrod Taylor showing up, taking care of business.
T2, baby. Let's go. T2.
Oh, I thought you were saying me too. Very, very, very nicely done, sir.
Yeah, that's on the administrative side of the Texans.
Yes, that is probably, yeah. We won't make jokes about that. We'll just keep all of those jokes. My bronze for the week, I'm going to go with the college buddies. And so I'm talking about the Philadelphia, I'm talking about the Miami connection, a little bit of Joe Burrow. These are the quarterbacks that got their wide receiver drafted by the team. And so I think that builds a pretty strong connection in the league. You're able to build off of this. All of those teams came out and were slinging it down the field. So it's good to see that. It's good to see that these guys, they're trying to like cement some, what do we want to call them? Franchise quarterbacks. They're trying to build around them. It doesn't just seem like they're giving them like, oh, just take this like Danny Woodhead. Like, yeah, he's here. Like, just throw him the ball. It's like, no, we're going to like have you guys have a chemistry and come up with in the team. So that was nice to see. It was also kind of like, oh, okay. You know, a little bit of the new kids on the block feel, you know, like you're seeing these nice little tandems. So that was my bronze place for the week. College buddies. Let's go ahead and move on to the silver.
Give us your silver.
My silver will be the Arizona Cardinals, because I think that team just looked, that was probably the number one game that when I look back on week one, I should have known that they were going to surprise people. It's one of those where everything is pointing to the Titans. I mean, nobody was talking about the Cardinals when I look back on that week one. It was just like Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, AJ Brown, they have all of these weapons. And then all of a sudden they just kind of like started spinning in the mud. And Arizona came out. They know what they wanted to do. They were moving the ball around too, which was surprising with the like running backs being involved and Murray able to run. So it's just like surprising to see that they were hitting on all cylinders where you saw like a Super Bowl contending team kind of like missing that first step initially. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Very big surprise. I do remember bringing it up and both of you kind of were like poo-pooing. It was just, and I was like, oh, I wonder. And
I'm going to push back and say that they're going to have a hot start like the Seahawks last year, and they're not going to make the playoffs.
A little bit of Mr. Unlimited's problem.
Tony, who do you got for your silver?
Jamar Chase. My goodness. Man, I don't know if you guys saw some of these clips, but like his route running was insanely impressive on week one. I think he turned around Patrick Peterson twice on the same route. It was amazing to see. Had 0 drops and was big time for Cincinnati. Just kind of doubling up on what Miller was saying, developing that chemistry from college where Burrow and him destroyed college and LSU in 2019. They really look good. They really looked good against Minnesota. I was pretty surprised because he did not look good in preseason.
I like it.
Right. For my silver, I had the 5 for 5 boys. By that, I mean Kyler Murray with his 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown for 5 TDs total, and Chandler Jones with 5 sacks.
That's pretty good. I like it.
But yes, Arizona killed it. But fair warning, they're gonna peak eventually at some point before their bye week, and then they're going to have an epic collapse. And I think that Kingsbury will still be on the hot seat at the end of the season.
Oh, heard it here first. Exclusive. Billings, let's start you off with your gold medal for week one. As you're handing it down.
My gold was to Tyrod Taylor. I'd probably say that was like his career game. So that's why I have to give the gold to him. Like, I don't think the Texans are going to perform much better than that. I think it's going to be like the Jags of last year where they got that early win and then they're just going to be stinkers throughout the season. But honestly, like Tyrod Taylor has been just a consistent all-around good dude in this league. And so it is nice to see him be successful, have the game of his career. He did deserve that, but unfortunately, I think it's going to be all downhill from here. So I'd give him that gold while I can.
I had completely forgotten about him getting his lung punctured by the doctor. And that's where like out in Bill's Mafia country, that's how like the kid got his start. And because you start thinking back on him and like where he's been and how he got to the Texans. And it's like he's never really like been bad. He's had bad games but he's always had the talent. He's always been able to move the ball and he's athletic. I mean, a running quarterback in this league is always going to have like a place as long as he's smart about what he does with the ball. So like, yeah, like seeing him succeed now, it's just like kind of like it's been coming, like it's the signs have all been there, but he's just never had the chance. So like, yes, it was just so like, coming out and seeing him, like, I was like, good to see like that, like a player of his caliber get the chance. So little T2 time. Yes, a little golf clap for the man. I want to hear Tony's gold medal for the week.
Megan Fox in that dress at the VMAs. She is 40.
Or the Met Gala. I mean, either one.
Yeah, whatever. I don't even know where she was. I was just like rattled by that dress. I was like, oh my goodness, what is happening here? But no, football, it's got to be Jameis. That dude was looking like prime Heisman Trophy Florida State, Jameis, eating that W as Billings called. That was another upset that Billings got right. 5 touchdowns and like 20 passes. I think he passed for like 200 yards, and he was just slicing and dicing that Packers team up with their shady home field Jacksonville game.
To see that boy be that efficient was surprising. I mean, they look. If we're gonna blame it on the eyesight, then let's just blame it on the eyesight and move on, because he was on point that whole game. Very, very interesting to see these quarterbacks succeeding in the their new situations. I'm also going to be throwing my hat into the new quarterback with a new team ring, and I'm giving it to the Rams and Stafford. I think that performance was that's what McVay has been looking for, is like a quarterback that's just gonna like chunk the ball. Let's like get it downfield. Let's play this like West Coast style of like offense that, you kind of flood the board with points and you hope that the other team doesn't catch up. I mean, how can they? You have two of the best like defensive players on the other side. So good luck. It's kind of one of those things. You're just getting flooded on all sides of the field. So Rams were nice to see succeeding. I mean, they're in that LA County, and I don't think you can be a loser in that town. So it's nice to see that, like I said, the excitement with the new team. So I'm going Stafford. That kid's been a loser for far too long. It's good to see this guy winning. So this next segment here is going to be all about of our losers of different calibers, we'll say. And I want Chris to start us off in this segment. We're going to have three losers. We're going to rank them. One of them made it into the crapper. They're in the crapper. The second one, they're just complete. They just poop the pants. They're just complete shit. And last, we will have our fucking dead, just lifeless. Like, come on, do something here.
They shit themselves, but they're dead as well.
They died, and upon dying, released everything into the world that they were holding on. And so, yes. But so let's start us off here, Chris. We're going to go with the in the crapper for the.
My in the crapper is RELAX. Relax. Rodgers ain't able to come out in no press conferences this season and tell the media to relax after that off season where he was Mr. basically like Yogi, like I'm just playing it cool. I'm on vacation, growing out my hair long. Like, no, man, like, and that, like, you got like the things that you asked for in the off season. Like, it's time for rubber to meet the road, and you need to start playing some football. So, like, no, I don't want to hear like any condescending like press conferences early in this season where he's telling people to just chill out, man, trust the process. Like, no. You need to come out and win some fucking games and like get like a 1 or 2 seed in the NFC and like actually compete in the playoffs. How about that?
Those Rodgers memes week 1 were killing me. The like him standing on the sideline and Devontae Adams and Marquise, or what is it? Valdez Scantling. And they're like, come on, bro, we're losing. And it's like Rodgers like, nah, y'all are losing. Like, just does not
like just like I said, for all the noise that was made about him in the offseason, like you cannot come out and like have a game like that. Like, no, especially with like the Saints, like basically like saying like, oh yep, we're going to Jacksonville because like Rodgers can't win there and it's more expensive for their fans to fly there and all these things. Like, no, like that is the game that you guys need to come out and at least be competitive in. That was a competitive game. Like, nobody would have held that against him. They've been like, yeah, it's still the Saints. It's still Sean Payton. But, like, just completely flat in the crapper.
Straight into the crapper. Tony, I'm going to hope that you don't go too far off on our podcast for your next in the crapper, because I still want to be able to record next week. So I'm going to hand you the mic and ask you, who are you giving your in the crapper award to?
Daniel Jones, Joe Judge, whatever they're doing in the Giants organization, they ruined my analysis for 9-11 home opener win as my upset. And I watched them in the red zone like 4 times and then just turn the ball over. And I'm just like, what are they doing on offense? Like, I was a victim to Jason Garrett's play calling for so long. Like, I can recognize when this torture is happening to another team. And I'm just like, you really just going to call halfback dives with Saquon and just hope that he just like breaks out and defeats the Broncos? I
see where this is coming from now.
That was some bad play calling.
PTSD at its finest. You're just watching.
Well, it's just true, man. Like, watching the Giants is just not like it's like watching a team like playing not to lose. Like, and that was totally Jason Garrett's MO in Dallas. And so it is a frustrating concept to watch.
I go in and I'm talking to this guy at work, and he's watching the game, and I'm like, hey man, how's Saquon doing? And he's like, who? And I'm like, Saquon Barkley? Like, how's he doing? He's like, oh. I'm like, that dude's already written off Saquon Barkley. Like, does not even a household name anymore. Dude doesn't even matter. 1 year off and you're already dead.
I think Jason Garrett's written him off as well.
Pretty much. Like, I was just like, how is that not a name that you just like know? Like, I'm that they're not showing you every other play, flashing Saquon like stats up there, like sometimes they flood you with the information and it's like, who? I was like, Saquon Barkley, bro. What the? It was just
all right. To add to that, that's who my complete shit is. Speaking of first round running backs, Zeke, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, all of these running backs just not performing up to that high draft status, and they're just not helping their teams. And so it's just like, are these players really worth that much of an investment? Like, are they actually helping out the offense that much? So that's who my complete shit award goes to, is those first round running backs not helping out the team.
Smart. It's smart. You got to wonder, 7 or 8 games down the road, most of them are already hurt, injured, or out. And they just put so much pressure on these guys. So like, you, as a Dallas fan, you see Zeke not breaking 80 yards and you're kind of like wondering, like, WTF, mate, where is this guy at?
That one play where they were in the red zone and it was him one-on-one with the DB. And I'm just like, we paid this man $90 million and you can't make one guy miss. You got to be better on that play.
At least he's not showing his belly button to the media anymore. We got to take small steps with this man, okay? He's
midriff shame. Miller in the midriff shame.
If I can't show my midriff, I don't want anybody of the male side showing their midriff. I'm just kidding. Okay, but let's keep moving here. For the complete shit, Billings.
The Browns punter, Jamie Gillian. I think that's how you say his name. Dude, you really screwed the pooch for the Browns. Man, like, when you're battling the Chiefs, especially like Andy Reid, like, field possession is still key, and that's what got him. Like, you can't make mistakes like that. That's why special teams is still important in the NFL, is like field position is king. And man, tough day for that guy.
You need 2 football fields to keep the Chiefs like out of the end zone. Like, you have to kick it to the second like field over there and then hope they don't bring it like all the way back. So yeah, that was rough. But would you say that the Chiefs are now like a team to beat in the AFC?
Now, yeah.
Like the last,
when did they stop?
Is this true?
The last 3 years,
just kind of been building up on that. I mean, it's
just
kind of been.
Just think of what's happened to the Texans since like that game where they nearly beat the Chiefs. The roller coaster ride that team has been on.
It was like 24 unanswered points, right?
Yeah, but it's still people like walked away from that game saying like, all right, like Texans have arrived, like they're gonna be a future competitor. And no.
Like, ouch. So for my complete shit, I was a little bit more literal in this award, and I'm giving it to the Washington football team fans being actually covered in shitty water at their own game. I think it was Billings that sent us this, that like a pipe had broken in the stadium. And if you've ever been to a stadium, you know that pipes are running all over people's heads. People are just completely tucked under everything. And you're just getting that shit poured on you. You know you showed up in a jersey. You know you showed up in some clean Nikes. You know what I mean? You like had your whole fit on. And then the next thing you know is like you're like, oh, it's raining. You're like, wait, we're underneath a covering. Oh my God, this smells. Oh, so I definitely that was a complete shit award. Nasty team. Moving on to an award that doesn't have a pulse here. I'm gonna ask Sir Christopher Billings to give me his fucking dead award.
Fucking Dead, unfortunately, the Fitz magic ride I think is over. I think that guy, like his career is most likely over. Not to be too mean, but like, yeah, the magic's dead there. Great, like another great guy, much like Tyrod Taylor, where like it's been fun to watch him like win some games, but I think the Fitz magic has ended, or is dead, just dead.
Poor guy. Yeah. It's rough to see an injury of that like caliber go down, you know, like a high ankle sprain. You never want to see the injuries, but still, it's just like when you see those, you're just like, oh, poor guy, man. Like, dude,
like hip, right?
What?
The hip?
Yeah, it was like a displacement of the hip, basically.
Ew.
Like, so you know, there's no cast that's just gonna get put on him. You know that's just like bedridden for 6 to 8 weeks after surgery. I mean, it's just not like a pretty injury, you know.
No Big Ben walking boot for Fitz magic.
No. Honestly, like if you're a journeyman QB, just don't go to Washington. Avoid it.
Things, unwritten rules in the NFL. Yep. I'm gonna have Mr. Tony Reyes, give me his fucking dead award next, please.
Matt Nagy, Andy Dalton, the Bears' cursed quarterback situation, their inability to decide on who their leader is, and I don't even know what their plan is. That locker room has to be so confused when they watch Justin Fields in practice, and this whole like throw Justin Fields out there for a couple plays. I'm like, this just does not work. You have to have like a unified leader. Everyone has to like, you have a divided locker room now.
It reminded me of like when the Jets brought on Tim Tebow, of just like the constant confusion of like, what are you going to do with this guy? Like, what is his place in the locker room? And that's how I felt with like Justin Fields, of just like, oh, I guess he's not quite competent enough to be our starting QB, but we're still going to like utilize him throughout the game. And like, that's just weird. Like, you can't be doing that. Like, yes, like that works for like Taysom Hill, when like you're legit using like Taysom Hill as almost like this like position, like specialized player, like gadget. But like Taysom Hill's not gonna like take over that locker room from like Jameis Winston, or from Drew Brees. And so that's like the difference. And so yeah, like watching that game, I was just like, dude, like talk about like shooting yourself in the foot, Matt Nagy. Like, this is some weird decisions that are ultimately going to lead to your demise.
Yeah. I have the exact same fucking dead award. I mean, I'm sorry to label him dead, but I mean, Andy Dalton has just served his purposes now in the league. You know, it's kind of one of those things. You had the chance to deem your rookie quarterback going into the season, deem him the starter, have Andy Dalton holding that clipboard, have Andy Dalton being like a sideline coach sort of a thing, give him some expert, we won't use that word, give him some analysis of what he's seen. It might not be expert analysis, but you know what I mean? It just seemed like everything that they chose to do with this rookie has been a bad call. You know, it just seems like they've been their own roadblock for any sort of momentum. You know, it doesn't seem like this is a way to go where it's like, no, it's Andy's time. Like, bro, it never has been Andy's time like a starter in this league, even when he was with the Bengals.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is like, how much has Andy Dalton been like covered up by like AJ Green and some of those other receivers that he's had over the years? Like people used to hold him in the same class that they do as like Matt Stafford or Matt Ryan. And
are we
like, we've seen what Stafford's doing outside of the Lions and we've seen what Dalton's done outside of the Bengals. And it's like, you did better with the Bengals, to be perfectly honest.
I mean,
so
I would
it's
even
like, were you just an illusion?
I would rank Giovanni Bernard and Joe Mixon like higher after seeing Andy Dalton playing with the Bears. I would, if I saw the Bengals playing like when 2-3 years ago, and yeah, these guys are terrible. They suck. Now that he's like left and I can watch these guys run and like plot and figure it out, I'm like, wait a second. Joe Mixon is actually a pretty good runner. You know, Giovanni Bernard is an actually pretty good pass catcher. You're like, what's going on here?
That same token, like, so I got a question for you. Like, this is eventually going to happen to Matt Ryan. Like, he's going to part ways with the Falcons and end up on another team. So it's like, he going to end up more of like a Matt Stafford or like a Ryan Tannehill, or is he going to end up more like an Andy Dalton? Or like even like a Jared Goff, where it's just like, yeah, like you were never really that good. You were propped up by a lot of like specialized positions. And so like, is Matt Ryan potentially going to go down the same path as Andy Dalton?
What's like a top prospect team? Like give me like one or two teams.
For Matt Ryan, I mean, hell, it could be the Broncos. I mean, could be the Lions potentially, could be the Texans.
I was going to say Lions would be definitely up there. If he goes to the Lions, that's RIP. If he goes to the Broncos, he could easily have like a nice little resurgence out there. It just all depends on where he ends up. I mean, Detroit doesn't look like they're stacking people up on their side. You know, but you look at the Broncos wide receiving core, it's young, Sutton's coming up, you have Tim Patrick. You have some decent people there, but then like, I mean, it's just all depends. Like, I mean, his talent is there. That man can play football and sling the ball. He's a gunslinger, but I definitely don't think if you put him like, oh shoot.
Is Matt Ryan better than Kirk Cousins?
Yes, I would say yes.
Is he better than Ryan Tannehill?
No.
That would either, I would have to draw the line there. I think Tannehill has him on the legs aspect, on like the moving out of the pocket and maybe taking a couple yards down the field. Matt Ryan is pretty much like, I mean, I would say Matt Ryan aligns up more with Peyton Manning than Ryan Tannehill. He's kind of got that like his
more pocket presence.
Yeah, but that's a lofty expectation for his second life.
Right. I mean, right. But I also compared him to the one quarterback who was able to have a second life, you know, a resurgence, if you will, with
Tom Brady retired.
Hold on. That dude's not dead.
I wish.
we all wish, but it was 1 year. We're still seeing it's still in the making here. Okay. Damn you. Good point. Good point. This is very good.
Yeah. Well, seriously, on the Brady note, like I've now been through high school, I've been through college, I now have a child, and this guy is still playing. Like, leave me alone.
Bro, LeBron's son, Bronny, is gonna retire before Tom Brady. Like Bronny
Jr. is probably gonna get an MVP in the NBA before like, Tom Brady retires. Like, just look at baseball. Like, look at all like the kids of former players that are starting to trickling in there, and it's all been within Tom Brady's life cycle. And I know it's like the popular tongue-in-cheek joke right now, like he's so old and whatnot, and he's gonna play till he's 60. But like seriously, when are you gonna stop? Like when are we gonna be like done with this national nightmare? The guy has outlasted a war in Afghanistan, for God's sakes. Like this is where we're at right now.
Oh, truth bombs right now.
You want to do butt game of the week?
Yeah. Why don't you explain to the people here and me what we mean by the butt game of the week?
I'll let Billings take this over, as this is his description and terminology.
Okay.
You just have that game every week where you're just like, it makes your eyes hurt, where you're just like, this is not visually appealing at all. And to be honest, though, like there really wasn't. Like all these games were pretty good. Like I'd just probably lean more towards my own personal game, like Broncos Giants, as being like one of the, but like I wouldn't say it was like a butt game where it's just like, oh, like this is like painful to watch. So yeah, thoughts, guys? Do you have any games this like over this week one where you're just like, oh, like even that Thursday night game? So I'm jumping a little bit into week two though, but like that Thursday night game, I had that on my second TV. I was like, you know what, like BB's Big Brother is going to be the main attraction tonight, and like that game was actually good to where it's like, oh, like I might end up like and I did end up watching it to the end.
Yeah,
where I was like, oh, we're like, what are these other options here? Like, what are these secondary options? So I've been moderately surprised with the games for week one. Like usually you just have like that game where it's like 9-6 and you're just like, neither team's really crossed like midfield at all in this game. But no, like I didn't see any games like that personally.
I guess if I would vote for any, it would just be for the like Packers offense in that game. I mean, being able to watch Jameis like toss that ball, that was, those highlights are decent. But then like when you end up looking back at it and they only got 3 points, like he didn't even score a touchdown that game. Like Aaron Jones didn't even get a decent run in that game. It was just like you had all of your healthy starters. You had Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, both Aarons in the lineup, and you still weren't able to walk away with any points. Just kind of like is the game to me that didn't make sense. But then I would only say like for the half of that, like it's only for the Green Bay side, since just kind of like doesn't add up.
I would agree with you. Aaron Rodgers was so bad. There's conspiracy theories going around that he threw the game, and he's just possibly just saying like, "Screw you, Packers."
Yes,
like that was not Aaron Rodgers. That was not Aaron Rodgers. No.
Occasionally he has games like that though. Like I remember the game that they had in Denver like a couple of years ago, I believe.
5 years ago. That's not occasionally.
No, like there was a recent game like 2 years ago against like the Broncos, and like the Packers just looked like ass, and like they just have weird games like that where you're just like, what? Like on paper you should be doing so much better on this.
Yeah,
the Bucks did that to him last year too.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'd say like that Niners-Lions game was pretty trash, where like you knew the results, and more it was just like watching these teams kind of non-compete for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I would say to go ahead and like lean into week two, both of you guys are in butt game watch for this next week. Both of your teams.
Oh, Broncos. Yeah. Aren't we No, I know on Thursday night next week.
I think Jags Broncos will be surprisingly
and Texans Browns. 2 butt game awards right there. I'm throwing that out there.
Dude, that's another game where I think people are just way too high on the Browns of like, yep, they're just gonna win that game. And it's still the Browns where they do play down to their competition.
What happened to the wide receiver? What happened to Odell Beckham? Are we putting him in the same coffin that we're burying not Zeke, but Saquon Barkley in? Like, are they both coming from that Giants team that went to the playoffs, sat on that boat, and they have time of death has been after posting that picture on Instagram. They have not done anything since then.
Honestly, the Browns look better without OBJ most of the time.
He seems to get in the way, right? It's like you have to force feed that man in order for him to be happy, which like completely throws your offense off. And I mean,
he's not happy being like the decoy for Landry.
No.
Wait, no. I hate. Why do you guys do this to me? It's like the NFC East torture. I'm going to remind you guys, last season, I watched Odell Beckham score 2 touchdowns and the Browns drop 40 in Dallas and he'd be unstoppable. Just because he hasn't been figured out how to be used yet for the Browns, I just like that guy's going to come back big this season. Watch out.
I don't think it should be that hard to figure out how to use like a top tier wide receiver. I think it should just be a little bit more easy where he fits like the scheme instead of the scheme like working his way. Like that's kind of like the whole like squeaky wheel mentality where like you end up having to like give him some like touches or like plays instead of just being like, we're going to run our offense. And but I mean, you can literally mean like run the offense, run the ball, and then we'll get to you because we've drawn the defense into a lull and you can take off down the field for these long passes. But it just seems like so much of it is like, he's like pulling it his way instead of him just like riding like with the team. It seems like
because of Baker. They're protecting Baker. He's not Justin Herbert. They have Nick Chubb. They have Kareem Hunt. They have that offensive line. They do not want Baker throwing the ball 40 times a game.
He doesn't need to with that team. Like, honestly, I think OBJ gets traded.
Again?
Easily. They're shipping that boat out this season, dude.
Man, I don't know.
Tony's definitely got you've definitely got to see this guy put up some major performances for him to like want it. It just doesn't seem like he's like bought in. Like
I think that this is the key to if Cleveland is going to pay Baker big money. If he can make Odell good and they can go ahead and move the ball downfield and expand that offense and keep the defense honest so they can get that running game churning. Mm-hmm. That's when you pay Baker. But if he cannot use Odell, they're like, this guy is not a franchise quarterback.
That's been the whole problem, though, is that Baker's been like forced to like get completions to this guy. And rather than just playing the game, like not worrying about it. Like I said, he does so much better without OBJ on the field. And so I'd be like, no, like, let's get rid of like OBJ and like actually see what Baker can do this season.
But Baker's played more without OBJ than with him.
Yeah, and nobody looks better.
Nobody considers Jarvis Landry a number one.
He's not a number one.
But that's what I'm saying. He's easily your number one on that team. If you trade Odell and you buy in. We were just talking about college buddies, like quarterbacks teaming up with like their wide receivers. And I'm not saying they went to the same college, but if you have a strong chemistry with like a number 1 and number 2 wide receiver, things should definitely fit in a little bit more easier than they are. Where this just seems clunky, you know, like without him, it seems like a nice, smooth operation.
How? We saw this last year. They lost Odell in like week 6. Then it was all Jarvis Landry, all running game. They went to the playoffs. Same exact thing against the Chiefs. Did this whole thing again. Week 1, same exact thing against the Chiefs. Baker couldn't throw downfield and complete late passes. They need a legit game breaker. We have already seen this. What's the difference between Baker and Andy Dalton?
Red hair.
A lot. Like, I can tell you that, just like what my eyes see, a lot.
Baker's surrounded by a pretty elite supporting cast.
And he did pretty good. Like that. Like I'd say he did pretty good in that Chiefs game.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There was he definitely did not help them win that game.
Like the problem with the Chiefs is you have to be good late in games. Like Baker came out and did what, like in any other game, in any other NFL game, Baker came out and did what is expected of like basically all 32 NFL quarterbacks have just like come out, do your thing, put some points on the board, let the defense do their thing on the other side of the ball. Like he did that. It's the Chiefs. Like you could say that about the Texans in the playoffs like 2 years ago. Like they did what they needed to do. It's just like the fucking Chiefs. Like
the Browns
just blow the lid off of it in the fourth quarter.
They scored 29 points. In any other game, like Billings says, that's pretty much like you're a ticket to victory until the other team gets the ball with like minutes left on the clock. But let's keep it moving here. Let's keep it moving as we get into. I've got my boy. He's starting to kind of get in on it. The Tony quarterback analysis here. He was kind of dissecting. We're kind of dissecting Baker here, but talk to me here. Who are we going to be breaking down in week 1?
Well, we were talking about Baker. He was one of the people we were breaking down. I just feel like he's just not there yet. And I really want to see if he can be that guy that can drop back in the pocket and win the game from the pocket. And I haven't seen that yet.
I did not mean to skip over you entirely. I did not see Baker was your number 2 there. But so Billings has kind of got a little Mimi game.
No, to push back on the Baker thing, like I would say yes. Like you haven't seen that guy come out and like say 2-minute drill, like win a game. Like it's more just like, nope, like Baker played good in that game. Baker played consistent, but no, like you've never seen like that clutch performance out of him where it's like, no, like he like came in the 11th hour and like saved this team. And I think that's what Tony's speaking to, that we haven't seen like that next level from him. Like he just makes him like, I guess, like almost like this B tier quarterback, like a Matt Ryan or a Matt Stafford, where it's just like, okay, like, yeah, you're good, but you don't have like that extra edge to win championships.
The 2-minute drill is a great way to compare that there. The whole game's on the line. We need more than a field goal. You
have those QBs of where it's like, nope, like if you left like a minute 15 on the board, like you lost the game basically. Like you gave them too much time. And that's the Brady's, the Rodgers, like used to be the Peyton Mannings. Although, Eli's like honestly, Eli did it a few times.
Even Eli,
just like 2-minute drill, march down the field, win the game.
Right? It was a helmet catch bump.
Well, that's just like a freak of nature. We won't even get into that. That's just
so
God
Tony,
playing with like a magnifying glass, essentially.
so Tony, give me your last little bit here. What is Baker for you? What does he need to do? I know Billings just kind of gave his, but like for you, what does he need to do? What does the team need to do to take that next step, or did they?
I think that Baker has to be the reason they win.
Okay.
Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson were in the same draft as Baker Mayfield. He was drafted ahead of both of those guys. Both of those dudes have been paid.
Wow.
Oh no, Lamar Jackson hasn't been paid yet, but they're negotiating.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen looks like a much better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson can do things that no one else in the league can do and has an MVP. So I really need to see him win some games.
Okay. Now, if we were to take like a little segue, those little segues, we're going to segue to the next quarterback.
That is the most like 2010 joke I've ever heard. Dear God.
That was a great.
People don't even ride the Segways anymore. It's like those little like city scooters, like electric scooters.
Oh, okay,
razors.
Let's take like a little city scooter on over. Where would we be stopping in next, Tony, for our QB analysis?
Miami in the Tua Tagovailoa train.
Hit me with it.
This one I was a little confused by, to be honest, because I don't know if he looks more comfortable. It looks like Miami's calling more plays for him to his strengths. But man, this Jalen Waddle dude is the truth. To like touch base on your college buddies thing, like he looks like a legit difference maker. And it's really difficult for me to be like, hey, man, you go to New England, you won that game. You're awesome. Like you've solidified yourself. But they luckily won that game due to a defensive play by Xavier Howard forcing a fumble. And while the Patriots were like in the red zone, gonna kick a field goal to win. So
by the way, like was completely right in the offseason. Like deserved the respect that was due to him.
Who deserved the respect?
I'm talking about Howard X.
Oh yeah,
Howard.
He did.
That man got paid.
He's a game changer. He's definitely one of the better.
And he proved it in that game. Like you said, he won him that game. And so like, yeah, like probably should pay that guy.
Yep.
But to step on what Tony's saying about Tua, just like and this is why I've never been sold on him, like what the Dolphins bought and what they actually like were sold are two different things. Like what we saw out of Tua in Alabama, like you kind of have to take that out of your headspace. Like he's not that guy anymore after that injury. And I just feel like the Dolphins are just clinging, like they're that cat on the wire that's like hanging there of just like, like there's still that ceiling. We think he can do it. Like we've seen him do it before. And it's like, no, like you guys just need to like either change up the game for him to where he's more comfortable, or you guys just need to move on. And it seems like more just like, I'm still hearing this chatter that they're interested in Deshaun Watson. Like here we are officially in week 2, and there's still chatter that they want Deshaun Watson. And so it's like, yeah, I think they're ready to move off of this guy. And I'm not sold on him either. I think that injury was drastic for him. Like, cause like I said, what people wanted to buy, that Alabama QB, and what actually got sold are two different things.
Is Miami the ultimate like guy holding girlfriend looking back meme? Like is Miami that with like Tua and they're like looking back at
Tua? Yeah, it's like them looking at Herbert and like Tua being like, hey, but that's the thing. Like it's like, and a lot of NFL teams do this, and this is why I discredit so many just GMs and NFL scouts, is because like they'll just buy into a player. Like, and you saw it with Miami, like that season leading up to that draft, like basically the fan base, you could see it, like their front office was like, yep, we're doing it for Tua, man. Like
tank for Tua.
Yeah, tank for Tua. We're going to get like Tua's our guy. He's going to be the guy that's going to change Miami Dolphin football. Like he's the next Dan Marino. Like they were sold on him. And despite that injury, like they stuck with that. They're like, nope. Like we were already sold on this guy. Here's our guy. Like they didn't like reassess. Like they didn't pivot into a new position of like, oh, like, yeah, injury, like should set him probably back a little bit. We should go for Herbert. Like no readjustment there.
Maybe Herbert reminded them too much of Tannehill.
Oh. And then like, honestly, that's probably part of it as well. Of just like, oh, like if we get Herbert, is our fan base going to feel like we gave him another Tannehill? Whereas like Tua, just like, it's like, yeah, like this guy like fits, like he fits with South Florida.
So any last remarks for our boy Tua Tagliavoa? I just like saying his last name sometimes.
I don't know. I think the jury's still out.
It is.
I feel like he could perform well in these next couple of games. I just need to see more of a sample size. Definitely
From these new age quarterbacks coming out, you definitely have to see them perform a little bit more. Nobody is just coming in and dominating. Nobody has that like on-field presence yet. So it's more of is it a system or is it a lack of talent sort of a thing? And so I think we're going to be able to see here in the next couple of games. Who is their week 2 matchup? Getting ahead of ourselves here.
Bills.
Oh, that's one of the big trap games this week. Man, 2 divisional games in the first 2 weeks. That's heavy.
They do things different out there in the AFC East, man.
That is pretty heavy. I mean, you're getting the bulk of your season, like the big games of your season done in the first 2 weeks. And wow, even after last week, that was a rough game. Tony, where would we be heading to for our QB analysis of the third quarterback? It's not necessarily like a ranking here. These are just kind of our three QBs you wanted to touch.
Tony's happy, warm and fuzzy thoughts.
Yeah.
It's like a nice warm blanket.
We did talk about Matt Stafford and the Rams a little earlier. I mean, not really much more to say. He completed 2 50-yard touchdowns in the first half. I mean, he looks like a perfect fit in the McVay offense, and I didn't even think the Bears were like competitive at all in that game.
It like blew me away that I like wasn't that like the longest like TD pass for like a Rams QB ever. I think that happened with like the Saints and the Rams this weekend, where like both teams had like the longest like TD pass of their franchises, and it's just like, wow, like that's pretty wild to see, like just how they've been doing it. Like even to have someone like Drew Brees, like that dude was never launching it like 50 yards down the field.
Yeah.
Like quick slants, and Slant Boy would be able to make a play and get up the field, sort of a
Slant Boy.
I just wanted to bring that name
back.
He's back again.
But no, like Matt Stafford, like dudes, I hope he's successful with this LA experiment. Like it seems Vegas is like they've identified them as one of the favorites and have faith in them. So if he can stay healthy, like that team will be something to be reckoned with, I feel like.
Should be nice to see. Always good for a Texas-born quarterback to be making it in the league.
Oh, I forgot. That's right. That's Clayton Kershaw's best friend.
Yes. Not sure I get that reference. Billings with the deep cuts. They go to high school together?
They did.
Clayton Kershaw. No way. How?
They did.
Yes. Out in Dallas, I believe.
Yep. Those rich suburbs of Dallas.
It really never looks like he left either. Like the way, you know what I mean? It just seems like he's just like fits in there in that LA culture.
Yep.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us on Tony's quarterback analysis for this week. We will be back this next week with some more quarterback analysis as we see. It might not be good. It might not be bad, but Tony's.
We probably should let Tony plug his new website.
Yes.
If you want to get some more QB analysis, by the way.
That's probably a better spot. Let's do that.
TonyParlay.com. Check it out. I got my thoughts up there. I'll drop some takeaways. I'll drop some picks. I'll try and put it all up there. Follow my wild gambling tales. $2, $3 bets. Let's go.
Get him, boy. That's awesome. This man has a lot to say, so be careful because he's gonna hit you with the truth. He tells it like he sees it, and that's a good thing about him. So go check it out. Tony.
Or the bad thing.
Tony Parlay again. Let's just get it for everybody. Tony Parlay everywhere, every day. Tony Parlay. Okay, perfect. I love it. Let's get into some spreads. What do you guys? Some peanut butter spreads or week 2 spreads? If you had to pick, probably week 2.
How about some
Nutella. Americans are so uncultured here. We need to they use Nutella out in the overseas Europe like nothing, and here we use it like it's a delicacy or something. It's like,
remember when almond butter was a thing?
Oh man, we love almond butter. It's so good. So good. You got to stir it up a little bit though. You got to get.
Oh yeah.
You got to get those
a little too greasy.
Yes.
Give me that $9 cashew butter. What are you talking about?
Cashew butter. Wow. All right.
Bougie.
We're gonna have to check in with Chef Tony and see what kind of creations are getting made down there lately. Remember? Oh no, we won't talk about late night Austin snacks. That's another podcast.
We just won't talk about Austin.
That's probably better. So let's get into some week 2 spreads here. Again, everybody has put in their picks for the week. We're going to be trying to I'm going to be bringing some more excitement to this section, so it's not just a little back and forth, but we'll see what we can do here. Thursday night we had a little preview for week 2. We got the gentleman got the picks in. I did not get it in on time. But we have the Giants, the New York Football Giants, traveling to the Washington football team's house. We had Washington giving up 3 points in this game. Tony, who did you pick?
Washington.
Billings.
All picked Washington.
We all picked Washington, and they unfortunately did not make up 3 points. It was a wild game. Good thing the kicker got 2 attempts at that field goal so he could make it up, and they did not ostracize him at the end of that game. But they did only win by like one or two, right?
Yep.
Womp womp. Moving on to the wild AFC, like we were just talking about, the Patriots are traveling to the New York Jets, and they have New England giving up 6 points. I'm seeing here. Now, Tony, talk to me. Who did you pick?
Patriots.
And they're going to be able to make up, 6 points. I mean, that's a lot of points. Okay, this next one intrigues me here. Billings, you seem to have written. What did you write here?
New York Jets.
New York J-E.
Patriots aren't that good. It's a divisional game. It's in New York. So I think Jets will most likely cover.
Talk about
It's in the, you want to talk about a preview of a butt game? This is it, my friend.
Oh, Billings' butt game of the week. I like that.
Two rookie QBs going against each other in just like one of the trash divisional battles of the season.
We shall see. Does Bill Belichick let another rookie quarterback beat him? I don't think so. I'm picking the Patriots to cover and win. Moving on, we are back in Florida for the Broncos facing the Jaguars. Denver is giving up 6 points in this game. I'm going to ask the native Denver Knight, Denverian. What are you guys?
Just stop saying words. I have Jacksonville covering. I think that this is one of those games where of course everyone's going to pick the Broncos to win, but the Jags are playing for their football lives. I think they'll cover.
So that leads me next to Tony, who's going to then explain who he picked.
I disagree. I think that the Jaguars look like one of those teams that just doesn't know how to win games, doesn't know how to compete at the NFL level yet. Urban Meyer's inexperience is being pretty well exploited by these coaches. I mean, the Texans had their way with them last week. I really just think that they won't be able to score any points. And Teddy Bridgewater looked pretty solid for the Broncos last week. So I think that he'll be able to put up some points.
I am going with the Jaguars in this game. I don't think that the Broncos get it together in this, but I think that the Jaguars got a little fire under their butts going for this game. I think they come out. We're gonna see. This is their home opener. Come on now, you're gonna sling that ball. You're gonna be tossing it down the field. Well, I think they're gonna cover. Moving down, we're staying in Florida actually, and we've got the Buffalo Bills playing the Miami Dolphins. Buffalo is giving up -3.5. So you've got to win by more than a field goal. Now, this is just a clean sweep all the way through and through. Tony, who are you picking?
Tua and the Dolphins.
Tua and the Dolphins.
Home opener, like you were saying. Florida home opener. Let's see what Tua's got. That Bills defense ain't the Patriots defense.
Let's see what we got. Definitely going to be a lot of offense in this game. Billings and I also picked Miami. Billings, is there any other reasoning than what we just heard Tony picking here?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. It's a divisional game. Dolphins are at home. Bills are still struggling. It's It's going to be one of those games where everyone's going to pick the Bills, and Dolphins will make it a lot more competitive. It might actually pull off a win.
Animation of a dolphin slamming a Buffalo Bill through a table.
Damn.
Moving on next, we have the San Francisco 49ers and whatever they're doing with their two quarterbacks playing the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. San Francisco is giving up 3 points in this game right now. We'll see if this line moves. I have a feeling it might until Sunday. So Tony, hit me with your pick.
Eagles home opener. Eagles are going to cover. This Eagles offensive line and defensive line are pretty solid, pretty stout. Seems to be the key in helping them destroy the Falcons last week. Good Lord. That was the butt game. We missed it, guys. I'm sorry. That was the butt game.
The bird game. The bird game was
32-6.
Yeah, that's pretty true there. Billings, Sir Billings, hit me with your pick. Who are you going with?
I'm going with San Fran.
A little San Fran love, huh?
I think they're a pretty good team, to be honest.
I think that defense has a little bit to show. Like, they still have some showing up to do, but I hope people stay healthy on that team. I have never seen a more injury-riddled team this year. So if they can have some pass catchers to catch that ball and move it down the field, hopefully. But unfortunately, I'm actually going with the Eagles in this game. I think that team's looking pretty solid. They have enough of the pieces now. This is going to be an actual test. So moving on next, we're going to head to Indianapolis. The Los Angeles Rams are facing the Indianapolis Colts. Billings, hit me with your pick, sir.
Can't go with the Rams. I think Colts are a bad team.
I should probably also let you guys know that the Rams are favored 3.5 points in this game.
No doubt.
That would help, right? Yes. Now we go to Tony here. I see you've written down. It seems like you're going with Indianapolis.
I am.
Wow.
Why?
What?
Okay. This guy named Chris Billings told me about home doggies. Number one. Number two, they looked like complete dog shit last week against the Seahawks. Got completely blown out. And I don't think they're that bad. And I think the Rams stock is at like an all-time high right now. They're going on the road, home doggies. I just think that the Colts, they got a good chance at an upset in this game. And I hate watching Carson Wentz play. Dear God, that man will never throw the ball. He holds it forever. But I just don't think they're as bad as they looked in week one. Could definitely be wrong. About that. But I don't think they're as bad as they looked.
Oof. I don't see this team at all showing up. I'm picking the Rams. I don't see the Colts showing up at all. I'm picking the Rams in this game. I think that defense is too much for the little pieces that they have in Indianapolis. The Rams are just going to swarm them. We were talking about it. They're just flooded with talent, and you're going to be able to see that talent take over. You're going to see Aaron Donald in that backfield. I pray that man doesn't get another injury. I hope Jonathan Taylor doesn't get hurt either. Let's just make it through this game. Rams. Lock. Let's move on next. I'm putting my own animations, but I'm talking us through them. So next, we're going to call this the blackout game. This is the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Pittsburgh, the land of the Steelers. And Pittsburgh's actually giving up 5.5 points. So you're going to have to win by more than 2 field goals in this game. But looking at our picks, it seems like we're all in unison on this one. Billings, who are you picking?
Going with the Steelers. Raiders had their fun last week. They're on an emotional high that's going to come crashing down this week. They got lucky as fuck.
None of these walk-off touchdown passes going to happen this week. That is pretty good defense out in Pittsburgh still, even when they're playing at home. I mean, it's just like a complete like lopsided kind of a field. You know, you're playing uphill the whole time, it feels like. I'm going with Steelers. Again, we said it again. Tony, all three.
I'm in agreement. Darren Waller might be the best tight end in the game, but I think Minkah Fitzpatrick can cover him. And TJ Watt is a game wrecker, as we saw last week when he just abused Josh Allen.
Yep. Steelers locked in.
Love it. I bet that up to 8, if to be honest.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Tony's putting more on it. Betters, hit him up. TonyParlay.com. Let him know. Next, we're going to go to Chicago, the Windy City. We have the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Chicago to play the Bears. Chicago is actually giving up points in this game. Can you believe that? Chicago -2.5. What in the world is happening? Tony, who are you going with?
All right, I got to get a shovel out and dig this dude up because I'm pretty sure we buried him earlier. Andy Dalton revenge game, y'all. Andy Dalton revenge game.
Oh, man.
This is probably the only reason he's getting named the starter is like after this game, they'll probably move on to Justin Fields, but it was probably like a wink deal with Nagy. But like, please let me play so I can get my Andy Dalton Cincinnati revenge game in. Bears home opener. Cincinnati coming off of a overtime game. Those are always tough to bounce back from. So I don't know. That's why I'm going with the Bears.
The Bears. Billings.
I'm going with the Bengals. I think they looked better than I honestly thought they would be so far. Joe Burrow looking legit.
College buddies. Jamar Chase. You're looking good there, son. I wonder if they share a room. Like they're that tight. I'm going with the Bengals as well. No, there's just not much happening on that Chicago side of the field. I hope it's a good game. I hope they let Andy Dalton play. I hope he plays. Like, I hope he takes that opportunity to, unleash something to throw the ball down the field. But I just think the Bengals are going to be able to run all over them. It's just going to be a one-sided victory.
Joe Mixon game?
Could be a Joe Mixon game, but I feel like Burrow's first thought is to throw. So he's trying to figure out how to work this Joe Mixon, like lean on him instead of just throwing it down the field like they did in college. And it's like, if you have one, you'll have the other, like if you have your dinner, you can have your dessert, so this is what you come here for, right? You come here for the
food
metaphors.
Analogies.
Beautiful analogies. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to check out for this next game. You guys let me know how it goes. But the Houston Texans, my beloved Houston Texans, are traveling to the Cleveland Browns, the land of Drew Carey and other things. The Browns are giving up a lot of points in this game, like a lot of points. Is this the biggest spread that we've had this season?
This week,
at least. -12.5. Cleveland gives up a lot of points. That's 2 touchdowns worth. A lot of points there.
Yeah, this is the biggest spread of the season by far.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to let Christopher tell me who he's picking here.
Texans, it's just too many points, and it's the Browns. They play down to their competition.
Definitely. They easily played up last week, and I can see them definitely playing down this week against this team. We're still figuring it out. It was nice last week, but we'll see. I am also picking the Houston Texans. Tony?
I'm in agreement. I think that's too many points.
Houston Texans all the way around for us. Too many points to cover. Hopefully they don't cover, because then that's going to just be an ass whooping. But yes. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints traveling to the land of Sir Purr and the Carolina Panthers. New Orleans is actually favored in this Carolina home opener at -3.5. I think I would like to hear from Tony, Parlay Tony, on this one.
I would say the Panthers are going to win. Number one, I don't think that Jameis is that good. I think that what we saw last week was not going to be reproduced throughout the season. I doubt he throws 5 touchdowns in any other game.
Mm-hmm.
And the Saints did also get wrecked by COVID with, I believe, 6 coaches and 2 defensive starters being out for this game.
It's not good. It's not good, Chuck. Billings.
I'm not gonna go as wild as that of saying just Jameis isn't good, but no, I'm gonna go with the home kitties in this instance.
Y'all call him that. Y'all call him that. Sir Purr. I'm actually going against the grain here. I'm picking New Orleans. I think that this momentum continues on into Carolina. They go in there. They're going to throw a whole bunch of passes. They're going to let Alvin Kamara do a whole bunch of spinning. Super Camario. He's going to be doing his thing. So I think they're going to keep riding this wave. I don't think they meet the wall or the pavement yet, but I think they're going to cover. So Saints, I'm the odd man out here. Now I'm going to toss it to my homeboy Tony here, and I want you to walk me through these afternoon games, Senor.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
To start it off, we got the Vikings coming off of that overtime loss to Cincinnati, in which we had the wonderful push, and they're traveling again on the road to Arizona to play the Cardinals after the Cardinals had the biggest surprise win of the week, destroying the Titans. I am picking the Vikings to cover this one here. 3.5. Cardinals are the favorite at home. I just don't think that the Cardinals are that good. I don't think they're putting up 38 every week. And I think that it's a much, much better defense that they'll be facing this week with Zimmer coming into town. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Chris and let him share his thoughts.
I went with the Vikings as well. I don't think I've picked the Cards as a favorite since Kurt Warner was in town. So yeah, I'm not going to start today. Ruh-roh,
indeed.
Like if it was 3 points, I'd say it's probably going to be a push again, but that half point is the difference maker there. Where yeah, I can see the Cardinals winning by a field goal, but not much more.
That's rough.
Andrew, you want to go ahead and chime in?
I think defense does travel well, but I don't think defense is going to travel that well. I think the Cardinals are going to cover in this. They're going to be able to put some points on the board. I think Chandler Jones could possibly have like double-digit sacks before week 3. If these guys aren't careful, this guy's going to just end up in the backfield. It was nice to see TJ Watt playing. I don't know if we're going to put well in there. I'm just going to say it was nice to see him playing, but I think this Cardinal team is serious. They're going to try to put up some points. So I don't think they meet the wall yet. So I'm going Cardinals.
All right. Leads us to our next game. Another contender for butt game of the week.
True.
Tampa Bay against the Falcons. Tampa Bay is favored by 12 points, which is right up there with Cleveland and Houston as the biggest spread of the week. It's Tom Brady. I'm picking the Bucs. I'm not going against this stupid machine that's unstoppable. I watched what they did to the Cowboys. They're just unstoppable. I'll go ahead and toss it to Miller to see what he thinks.
I'm just now realizing that Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay because he's like Tom Haverford, where they ask him like if he got all of his T-shirts with Tommy Hilfiger embroidered, and he's like, yeah, like that's exactly what I did. So when Tom Brady looks out into the sea of TBs, he feels like this team is his. It's like this is Tom Brady land here. There's no Tampa Bay. That's what it is. It's Tampa Bay. That's what he sees. It's just, this is me. This is like, I mean, we're living in a surreal reality with this man. I'm picking Tampa Bay. They just have too many weapons. I hope they get some of the other people involved instead of continually throwing to Gronk and Antonio Brown. Like, it'd be nice to see Mike Evans.
Why do they need to, though? Why do they need to?
Because it just feels like you had these like new kids come into the team, and like these new kids are clearly like good. They're like the kids you like bring on to go to the out of town tournaments. And they're like, I mean, the kid's 6'8". Why are we not going to throw him the football? You know,
Gronk's gonna have like a hamstring injury or like some kind of like back spasm midseason, be out 3 games, and then that'll be the opportunity for other receivers to step up and annihilate teams.
Mike Evans to finally get like 3 touchdowns on the season, and they have it in 1 game. Like, Antonio Brown is catching ridiculous passes. Like, I will say, watching that dude play football is one of the most fun. Like, he's entertaining, like, as a wide receiver. So to see the
keep your mouth shut.
Just to see the off-field antics finally, like, yeah, enough. This is nice to see him catching some passes. So I'm gonna pass the mic here to my friend Chris.
I also went with the Bucks. I think that the Falcons are psychologically fucked by Tom Brady at this point. Like, he just continues to troll that 28-3 lead, and yeah, Falcons ain't like 12 points. I would usually say that's a lot. Like, yeah, of course, divisional game, of course, Falcons cover, but like, I really just have no faith in them.
Yeah, considering they haven't scored 12 points this season.
I want to put I want to find somebody who can research this style of Tom Brady trolling, because it's like, it's funny enough that it's not mean. Where like, I'm pretty sure he texted somebody, right? Didn't he like troll a quarterback, but he texted them at like 3 a.m. or something, because that's how much time was left from this last game.
That's how many times he's won, though. Is like, he's just to the point where he's fucking with people now.
But I mean, it's a light style of trolling. It's not like he's coming out here like the taunting rule where you're standing over a guy and like barking.
Yeah, but no, he's like the NFL equivalent of like Bill Murray now, or it's just like he's stopped caring, but he's just gonna fuck with everyone.
I really think there's needs to be like a whole like study about this, because like nobody gets offended. If he ever makes a graphic about you, it's always like tongue in cheek, and it's always like light. Everybody.
How would that work if you got offended? If you came out and you're like, you know what, fuck Tom Brady. That's like, I don't appreciate this. Like, the whole internet would be like, oh, you're just salty because he has 6 championships. So like that's an unwinnable situation to like go after that man. Sorry, 7.
Well, I mean, New England tried to do exactly what you're talking about, and we've seen how that's worked out for them.
Poorly.
Yes.
Cam Newton signed yet.
All right.
I will put this can of worms back in my pocket, though. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. Let's lead us back to another afternoon game, Seattle opener. The Titans, who were the biggest disappointment of week 1, traveling cross country. Seattle's home opener. Seattle's favored by 5.5. Seems like a little bit too many points. I think the Titans will get it together and will be competitive in this game. I've got the Titans covering. What do you think, Miller?
Oof, I think 5.5. That's a little bit too much. I think this is going to be a little bit closer game. I'm going with the Titans. I don't think Seattle covers. Mr. Unlimited. Billings.
Just because you said that makes me want to change my pick right now.
You're like, actually, on air change right now.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, I'm going to change my pick right now. Like, I'm gonna go with Seattle, because like, I just realized they are back at home. They're gonna have fans in the stands again. Like, that 12 crowd is back.
The 12.
So yeah, sorry, Titans. Like, and then to travel cross country, which I failed to mention that with like there was another game up here where it's just like some weird traveling.
Niners going to the Eagles. You have Raiders
Rams,
going to
Colts.
the Steelers. I mean, you have a lot of actual travel. Texans to the Browns.
Raiders, Steelers, Rams, Colts.
Mm-hmm. Most of the travel is across country. Bills to the Dolphins.
Dude, wasn't Vrabel like a really good defensive player? Like, man, that defense has been pretty questionable since he's been there.
We're getting some mid show changes here.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Seattle. That's just, yeah. I think having their fans back in the stands, they'll be amped. They'll be ready to play. Titans they're on a little struggle bus period right now.
Get it.
And so, yeah, I'm going from Tennessee out to Seattle. We'll probably fuck with them as well.
Well, staying on the West Coast leads us to the late game. I'm pretty sure the Cowboys and Chargers will be a very entertaining game. The Chargers are a home favorite here, favored by 3. There's a lot of noise right now about the injuries the Cowboys are facing. The Chargers are also facing some injuries. I mean, Justin Herbert looked incredible against Washington last week, but I mean, Dak Prescott also looked really good against Tampa Bay.
This was the team that I was actually thinking of that got screwed travel-wise of having to go from Tampa Bay to Los Angeles and then to Dallas next week. That's not fun.
that is true. They did get some extra days though because they opened the season on Thursday.
But still, like that's just no one wants to do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Cowboys. I am a homer on that pick. I think it's gonna be a close one. I really don't see them starting out 0-2, and I just think that those receivers are going to make plays this week, and I'm expecting a bounce back week from Zeke.
I think that's probably the biggest key there is if they can get Zeke going early, then this game's going to go a little bit easier. Seeing both of those wide receivers get as many targets as they did in week 1 that's nice to see that chemistry is back, that Dak is going to be able to sling it. I think you need to get the animal, the wild man in the backfield going though for this team to really for it to really make a difference.
They tried. That didn't work. Dude's washed. They need to find some other options.
Would you say Dunzo? Would you say this man is
not Dunzo? Not Dunzo. Like he just needs to tweak his game a little, be a little bit better, like blocking in the back and some things like that. More of a catch.
Pass catcher.
There
you go.
Yeah.
Words are
starting to wear off. But so I had Dallas as well because let's be honest, this is a home game for Dallas.
Yep. Fans travel. I don't know. Push back on what Billings said about Zeke.
It's in Los Angeles. Like, not to be the white guy that's going to point this out, but like one of the most like diverse cities in America. I'm pretty sure you're going to have a lot of Cowboys fans in those stands.
America's team.
This is true. I don't know. I don't think Zeke's washed. I need to see him get to be more of the feature player. I think he did actually do well in some blitz pickup last week against Tampa. I just don't think any running back does well against that team. They're just fearsome in the middle. And the Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea, you can't run on them.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Zeke was never a run up the middle guy. It was more like a kind of a bounce out to find your hole and then take off. And that's where like him and like the Le'Veon Bells of the world are struggling because like when you slow down, that makes it a little bit harder to do that bounce out. Because by the time you bounce out and find that hole, you know, a fucking linebacker right there to light you up.
Yeah. That Zach Martin absence hurt a lot. That O-line definitely not at its prime performance. I guess we've talked enough about this wonderful Cowboys Chargers game, and will lead us to our Sunday night football game with the fun Kansas City offense and Patrick Mahomes traveling to Baltimore, where they are favored by 3.5 against the Ravens, who just lost this overtime heartbreaker on Monday night, finding a way to lose this game, getting injured left and right. This team is just getting ravaged. It just seems like this spread even seems small, 3.5. Like the blitz a lot. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league against the blitz. I really don't see the Ravens even being competitive in this game.
The reason for that 3.5 is because you're playing in Baltimore.
I'll toss it. What do you think about this?
Me? Talking to me? Talking to Billings?
Talking to you, Baltimore.
So honestly, I think this is another competitor for game of the week. This is going to be a game that the media is going to be all hyped on of course, it's Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. Like, how couldn't it be great? And it's probably going to be a blowout by the Chiefs is what I'm most likely assuming, that they're just going to come out and blow out the Ravens. And this is going to be a game that by the third quarter, most of the audience is going to check out and start looking towards Monday, getting those Sunday scaries out of their system. So that's my prediction. Is like after all those day games, everybody's going to be all pumped. They're like going to be like, of course, like it's Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. You're going to hear that all Sunday of people hyping up that night game. And it's probably just going to be a big old dud.
Big old goose egg.
Anything to add, Andrew?
No, I'm kind of on that same boat. I just don't think that it's going to be rough for the Baltimore Ravens to keep up with the Chiefs. I just can't see them. I mean, they've already seen each other's tape. Like each team knows what they do, and they're going to definitely do it. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to have Lamar running. We're going to have the like read option, but like containing Mahomes and the like Chiefs offense. Nope. I did that. I mean, we saw the like constant breakdown of these safeties in the Raiders game. And now you're telling them to cover a man cheetah? Like, no way, dude. No way. The other guy, he's like Kelsey in the middle. Good luck. That guy's a beast. Like, it will be interesting to see if Lamar throws it. I think if Lamar can like actually like air the ball out a little bit instead of him constantly leaning on the run, is where the like difference is made. So like we'll see, but I am going with the Chiefs. I
would not be shocked if Lamar Jackson gets injured in this game.
Is it doing too much? Sort of
yes, a thing? By having to just run for his life this entire game.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's stacked up against him right now. There's not a lot on his side of the ball that like you think, you know, there's no excellent wide receiver. The running back fucking room is empty right now. Like, they don't even have running back meetings. They're just like, go hang out with Lamar and figure out what he's doing. So but I'm going Chiefs again. 3.5 is just not enough. You gotta put double-digit points on those, like 9 points for the Chiefs.
This is an 8 or 9 point spread. I'd probably still pick Kansas City.
Yes. Dang, me too. That's how messed up it is. Oh man. All right. Let's wrap up our love fest for Kansas City and Mahomes, and we'll go ahead and go to the final game here. Monday Night Football, Packers home opener, facing the Lions. 11.5 points. The second or third largest spread of the week.
Yeah.
Packers have to bounce back after that pitiful showing in Jacksonville. Aaron Rodgers doing his best Zod impression at the press conference. I just really think that he's going to show up for the home fans, but I've got the Lions covering because they are going to be that backdoor cover team all season. I'm pretty sure I called this last week for a backdoor cover, but Billings was the only one that actually picked it. And I was like, God dang it. But yes, this Lions team backdoor cover all season. Toss it to Chris since he's the one who recognized this first.
I think Detroit covers as well. Like, that team on paper is garbage, but I think Dan Campbell like gets that team hyped week after week where they want to come out and fight, and they're seen as just such like underdogs that like I think they'll cover. And based off of like the Packers play last week, like not seeing them coming out this week and just like putting the daggers on Detroit and like beating them by 14. Like, I think there's still going to be some lingering struggles from last week.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add, Andrew?
Yes, I think we're gonna see a meme on after Sunday Night Football, and it's gonna be Aaron Rodgers. Oh no, this is Monday Night Football. I'm sorry, after Monday night. So it's gonna be Aaron Rodgers, and he's gonna have that cigarette, and he's gonna say Dan Campbell soup. I don't care. Just this guy's gonna go off. Getting into a little bit of fantasy advice, start Aaron Rodgers, start Aaron Jones, and start Devontae Adams. These boys are going to go off in this game. That's not any insider news. I know you're already starting them, but go ahead and like believe in the cheese because this man is coming. He's ready. They're going to go off. I'm picking the Packers to cover in this game. There is no way Detroit is going to be able to stay on the field with this man. He's just like charging up. He's getting ready. He's going to be throwing it all over these.
And if I was still playing fantasy, I would have traded Aaron Rodgers last week.
Who was the hostage holder for Aaron Rodgers? Oh, it was never mind. We'll continue.
RELEAX gets a sequel, huh, Miller?
Yes. YES. Yes.
We'll call this one the CHILL. Start us off, try and get us back on track here. We'll go to the straight up picks. We'll go ahead. We did talk about the Washington Giants Thursday night game, which was actually wildly entertaining. They both scored way more than everybody thought. Daniel Jones is fast. I didn't know he was athletic. I can't believe that like we've all forgotten that man had like the fastest run of the season last year, which blows my mind still. And then he had like a 80-yard run get called back on holding. So I mean,
that one hurt.
I was really surprised. We all picked Washington. They did win. It was a wild finish. Some questionable penalties on that as well for them to get a second chance at that field goal. I don't know if either one of you have anything to add on what you saw from Taylor Heineke and the Washington football team or the Giants.
I'm excited for McLaurin. That dude is solid. Not enough gets said about that dude. Constantly shows up, is constantly there, is easily like in that wide receiver 1 category, but there's just too much like above him. Like there's too many names above him. So like you end up getting to 10 wide receivers and he's not in there. So you're just like, oh, well, he's not good. But that dude has almost like carried this team. He's had people throwing ducks out there to him, making catches, making plays. The Ricky Seals Jones thing, like, get out of here. Nobody can like expect that to show up. But like to see McLaurin show up, I was excited about him going into the season, but to see him like, oh, really like showing up, it's solid. Also this Antonio Gibson cat, sort of looking pretty good, looking like a decent player. So it's nice to see that it's like the skill positions are showing up for this team. So
enjoy it now, because Washington is even worse than the Lions of just like
squandering talent.
Squandering these skill position players. And so like I said, enjoy it, because they're gonna completely shit on it and he won't have a career, won't even be able to go to like another team and perform. Like that's just how Washington works, is they somehow ruin these guys every time.
10th different starting quarterback for McLaren. So understand where you're going there, Andrew Miller. It seems like McLaren's going to the Allen Robinson hangout, torture talented receivers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I guess that leads us here to our Sunday games. We'll start it out here with this Jets home opener. Patriots traveling, the AFC East, keeping it spicy. I'll go ahead and let Chris take the lead on this and tell us why he's picking who he's picking.
I'm picking the Jets because I think this is it. We're seeing it. This is going to be the breaking and undoing of Bill Belichick. He's going to go 0-2 in that division, start just 0-2 in general, and people are going to start having those questions about him. Like, albeit like he has a rookie QB, but I think somehow like the Jets pull this off. Like I said, big competitor for a butt game, but I see the Jets somehow squeaking like a victory on this one, because like the Patriots aren't the Patriots they used to be. And so yeah, I have a hunch here that Bill Belichick's going to go 0-2 in that division, probably the first time in his career, most likely. And those questions are going to get asked.
Agree to disagree, Andrew.
I have definitely got to disagree. What I have seen is Bill Belichick is definitely not going to go 0-2. That man probably has cameras set up right now at New York Field. He's watching tape. Some custodian is like mopping the field and just like recording practice games. They're vacuuming the grass, and just like the vacuum is a camera. That dude, I mean, just give him enough time with Mac Jones, and this dude all of a sudden is going to start making passes. If it's like this, I just don't see this Jets team actually like finding form. And like, I just still feel like this is a big brother, little brother thing in this division. And like some of the teams like go in scared playing these Patriots. Like they're already like under the gun, where it's like, oh, Bill Belichick, like they just have such a dominating presence. I just don't see them being that much like of a competitor. So we'll see. We'll see if the Carolina alum make a difference for these Jets. I don't know. Good luck.
I would have to agree with Andrew. We didn't really talk about the rookie quarterback for the Jets. Zach Wilson, just his second start, really wasn't able to put up too much offense in Carolina last week. They actually scored less points than the Patriots, which is surprising considering the Patriots only scored 16 last week. So I just don't think they'll be able to score enough to beat the Patriots this weekend.
Lock it in.
Which leads us to our next game. Chris Billings, Broncos, traveling across country to Jacksonville for their home opener and Trevor Lawrence's first game in front of them fans. What are your thoughts, Chris?
I think, yeah, Broncos win this. Like, hey, like maybe if they still had Tim Tebow on the team and he could get some more fans out in the stands, I'd maybe like think this would be a little bit closer. But no, Urban Meyer, like honestly, I want to see that dude fail.
Damn. Tell us how you really feel.
Right? I mean, after one loss, murmurs of a USC job happening. They weren't really competitive against the Texans. I kind of see where Chris is going on that. I would have to agree with him. I think the Broncos do overwhelm the Jags at home. What do you have to add, Andrew?
I'm right there with you guys. I just don't see Trevor Lawrence getting away from Von Miller this week. That dude is just going to be terrorized back there. They already lost one of their wide receivers last week for Jacksonville. So also this graphic, every time I look at Jacksonville, it kind of hurts my eyes. I've never seen that color combination on the rundown, but it kind of hurts my eyes. So I kind of don't want them to win at all. So go Broncos.
Well, staying in Florida, we'll go to Miami. We did talk about wonderful Tua Tagovailoa earlier. Bills, another division game, traveling down to Florida. I'm going to let Andrew tell us why he thinks the Bills will win this game.
Bills Mafia coming to town. I definitely think this is a makeup game for the Bills to get back on track. They're going to be throwing it to this man, Stephon Diggs, new in town, new from last year. But I think he's going to make a big difference in this game. Your boy Xavier Howard is going to be the matchup all game. We're also going to see if they get a running back involved, or if Josh Allen is kind of like just their best running back and he's going to be the Daniel Jones of his team, where he breaks out and has an 80-yard run, or he breaks out for gets some yards on his own. I just don't think the Bills are spinning out in the mud again this week against the Miami team that is still figuring out who they are.
Agree to disagree, Chris.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. It is middle of September in South Florida. I hope the Bills are wearing those white jerseys because it's going to be muggy. And yeah, I think just Josh Allen's going to struggle. He's going to start going down the path of Tom Brady, of just like those Miami games in Miami are going to be a struggle for him. And I see Miami pulling off the win. I think Xavier Howard's going to be the X factor, no pun intended, again, and probably have like a pick, maybe a pick six off of Josh Allen, if not 2 picks. That's my bold prediction for this game.
I do have to agree with Chris. I think that Buffalo's a little too one-dimensional. I think that that's a strength of Miami is their secondary. So I could see them really limiting the passing offense of the Bills. And I think that heat is going to go ahead and take effect. And I also think the Dolphins will win that home game. Leading us to another fun game for me, Philadelphia Eagles home opener, while the Niners traveling, second game on the road in a row. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Niners. Despite all those injuries, I think that team, they were blowing out Detroit, and then it was just like a late comeback. That team is very well coached. That team, they're healthier than they have been in past years. And I don't see Jalen Hurts being able to duplicate that performance he had against Atlanta. I'll go ahead and hand it off to Andrew over here and see if he has any different thoughts.
Yeah, someone forgot their mute button.
That's a fine.
That's
fine.
a
$5 fine.
$5 fine.
That is a fine. I was coughing over here. I wanted to cover that up, but now that I'm back here, I don't think I'm gonna disagree.
What was causing the coughing, Andrew? What would lead to that?
It was I was eating some grass. I was outside eating grass to help my stomach
I'm
feel
sure
better.
you were eating some grass.
And I got some lodged in my throat here, so I wanted to. But I think the Niners are just, I don't know. There's too much going on there. The Eagles, I don't know. I think this Jalen Hurts guy, like you said, I just don't think it's enough. I'm gonna go Niners.
Anything to add, Chris?
No, not really. Niners, butt game contender of the week. And that's all I have to say on this game.
Interesting. All right. I'll let you take the lead on this Rams-Colts game then, Chris, and tell us why you think who's going to win.
I think the Rams win this. Like, Colts just didn't look good. Like, that's another team on paper that, sorry. And the Rams, like, they looked phenomenal.
Andrew?
Lock this one in. Rams are going to win.
Leaving me on the island is picking the Colts. My upset of the week. This is the home dog of the week that I picking to win. I just think that the Colts pull an upset here. I think they hold the ball, keep Stafford off the field. Big game by Jonathan Taylor, and they end up pulling that one out.
Interesting.
Sending us to the black hole? No. Matchup of Pittsburgh and Raiders. This is just both teams in the black hole. What's going on here? I don't know who's hosting this game, but
it's the terrible towel wiping the black hole.
There it is.
I'll leave it at that. That's probably the best description of this game. We'll let Andrew take the lead on this and tell us who he's got and why.
Oh man, so I'm gonna go Steelers. Like I was talking about earlier, I think that home crowd plays a big difference in this. I think the Raiders were the benefit of that in week 1. So Steelers getting to play at home. I think Ben is a little bit more comfortable. He's gonna be able to link up with these wide receivers and playing offense in Heinz Field. Like we said earlier, it's just gonna be tilted. So best of luck. I'm picking Steelers.
Chris?
Much like that Eagles-Niners game, get this fucking game off my red zone. Do not want to see it. Steelers.
Have to agree. Think it's a big game from Najee Harris. We'll go ahead and travel here to the wonderful Andy Dalton revenge game, loading up that red rifle. Started off as I am again, picking the Bears, another home dog, in the Andy Dalton revenge game. I think that this is the peak of the Andy Dalton season. They win this game by a field goal, and it's tight. And I'll go ahead and just hand it off to Chris. Seeing as he doesn't want to watch Raiders Steelers, maybe he watches this game by mistake.
I would like to watch this just for the sake of Joe Burrow, to be honest. Like, that's the key reason here. But like, honestly, like, might as well treat this as a primetime game for Andy Dalton. And I'll leave it at that.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm going Bengals as well. I just don't think that the Bears know what they're doing. I think this revenge game makes sense if it's like a decent revenge, but I just don't think Andy has much against the Bengals or them against him. They're just kind of like indifferent, like, yeah, oh yeah, we used to date and that's it. Not really much else there.
All right, we'll stick with Andrew and tell us about
by far the Rocky movie that no one asked for. Like, no one wants this revenge match.
All right, sticking with Andrew and his Texans traveling to Cleveland. Tell us what's going to happen this weekend there.
Oh man, as much as I would love to see a Texans victory, I don't think that Tyrod Taylor is going to be enough with half like past his prime Mark Ingram falling into the end zone. I think the Browns are going to win this one. We'll see what this Baker Mayfield guy can do. Hopefully he stands out enough from Tyrod that he seems like a decent quarterback, and Tyrod doesn't make him look less of a quarterback. So I hope he puts some distance between himself here, but this Browns team needs to make I think this can be a statement win against the Texans. And I mean, it's sort of like you're going to see if they can play up or they're going to play down again. So Browns.
Chris?
As weird as that sounds, like, yeah, I'd say this is a statement game for Baker Mayfield of just like, what can you actually do? Can you play with like some consistency? Can you come into games like this and just like win, like hands down, like you'd see Patrick Mahomes do like in his first couple seasons, or you saw Aaron Rodgers do early in his career, of just like, these are the games you need to lock up and just be done with. Like, honestly, like, this is a game like your backup should be coming in like the last 5 minutes of this game. Like, that's how much better like the Browns realistically are than the Texans. So I don't disagree with Miller. Like, this is a statement game.
Seems like we are in unison of that. Just going to throw that out there. If Case Keenum does come in the game, this is a butt game.
Immediately change. Immediately no.
Right. Sending us back to Carolina, hosting Jameis off of his 5 touchdown performance, eating that W. Who do you got and why, Chris?
I got the Panthers. I think like Saints are riding a little just too high right now. Like, I do think as the season progresses, like they will be a good team. Like, they'll be a wild card contender. But no, like, I think Panthers being back at home, like they want to win this game. Like, this is a game they're going to come out fired for. Like, they see the opportunity. They don't want to be surpassed by the Saints, like in terms of like this divisional battle. Like, yes, like everyone's competing with the Bucks, but like that second spot in that division very much is probably going to end up a wild card spot. And so this is a statement game for the Panthers.
Have to agree with Chris there. I'm also on the Panthers. Sam Darnold got his revenge game victory last week. I think that the biggest thing I noticed was Christian McCaffrey is still really, really freaking good. And I think he's going to be a problem for that Saints defense. I'll see what this guy over here, Andrew, thinks on this.
I think that momentum is too strong right now. Jameis is playing pretty good. I'm picking Saints. I think J-Bo comes to town and is able to. It's different because you have Alvin Kamara. like as your like safety net. So the fact that like you don't pick a receiver like downfield, these dump offs or these like easy little like, run outside plays with Kamara, I just think this guy's on right now. And I'm gonna go Saints. I'm against the grain on this one.
Interesting. Leading us to Cardinals home opener where they face the Vikings. I am again on an island here, picking the Vikings as a road dog. I just don't think Arizona is as good as they looked last week. I think Mike Zimmer is an excellent defensive coach, and I just don't see him letting Kyler Murray run around for 12 seconds before he completes a pass. I'll go ahead and hand it off to Andrew over here and see what he thinks.
Oh man, we're gonna see a lot of the red zone today or in this game, and that's gonna be the Cardinals in the red zone, in the end zone. That team, nope. Good luck covering these wide receivers. I'm not gonna say it's like a resurgence, but it's nice to see AJ Green's name in like the box at the end of the game, like couple catches, like decent yards. Nuke is ridiculous. I only want that man to succeed in anything he does. That man is just like, he just works hard. It's nice to see him go to an organization that is actually like feeding him the ball. Kyler's gonna like scramble. So no, I just can't see the Vikings keeping up in this game. Poor Dalvin Cook is not gonna get much in this game. I'm going Cardinals.
Well, Dalvin Cook's biggest fan, Chris Billings, what do you have to say?
I'm going to predict this game for y'all. Arizona is going to be up by 1 or 2 points. Basically, it's going to come down to a Vikings field goal, of which they will miss in the final seconds, and Cardinals will win. That's my prediction. Also, a little bit of an early mea culpa, but raise my hand over here. Underestimated JJ Watt a little bit. Like, that guy is a difference maker, just not the way I expected. Like, the coverage that needs to, or the attention that needs to go towards JJ Watt, like, leaves that Chandler Jones guy wide open. And so, yeah, like, that's actually, it was a solid pickup by the Cardinals. So credit to them. But I think this is going to come down to Vikings being the Vikings, missing a field goal last second. Arizona wins. But Vikings cover.
Interesting.
All right, I think we can cover this next game in a minute. Falcons going to the Bucks. I'm gonna pick the Bucks. The Falcons are butt. This is a butt game. I don't know if you guys anything to add. Nope. Okay.
Over it.
Let's go to Seattle here, where they face the Titans in their home opener. I will go ahead and hand it to Miller to start this one. Who you got and why?
Yeah, I'm going Seahawks with this one. The home crowd, the 12th man, we talked about it. That's too good. I do think that Mr. Unlimited shows up and is able to move the ball around the field. So DK didn't necessarily get he didn't get fed enough in week 1, but I think it's going to be a big DK game this week. Seahawks.
Anything to add, Chris?
Yep, I think it's Seahawks. I think it's going to be a possession battle game, and because like just based off the crowd, like you're going to have to feed the ball to Derrick Henry, and like Seahawks, they know how to win those games, especially at home.
We're all in agreement. Russell Wilson moonball, Seahawks victory, leading us to Chargers home opener with the Cowboys actually having the home crowd. I'm picking the Cowboys. They need to win this game big time. I will go ahead and let Chris go ahead and tell us who he's got and why.
So I think in those afternoon games, you're going to see 2 main games on Red Zone. It's going to be that Vikings Cardinals game, and it's going to be this Cowboys Chargers game. Like those other 2 games, I think are going to be non-existent on Red Zone, but going with Cowboys. But it'll be a competitive game. Herbert will still look good. Herbert versus Dak, honestly, like I think that'll be a shootout. And if it is, sign me up. I want to watch that.
Yep.
Anything to add, Andrew?
No, I'm right there with you. I think these are 2 of the like up and coming quarterbacks. It's going to be a nice little matchup to watch. I think Cowboys end up getting the edge in this one.
leading us to the Sunday night game in Baltimore. We did talk about this quite a bit with the spread. We would all pick Chiefs -9. I don't know if there is much to add. That Ravens team has been ravaged by injuries. Lamar doesn't have a backfield. He is RB1 there. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I'll hand it over to Chris to see what he's got to add.
Chiefs, lock it in.
Leading us to the Monday Night Football game and the sequel to RELAX. Miller, tell us why you have who you have and why.
This dude was PO'd after last game. He was not having it. He's not going to go out here 2 weeks in a row and put up duds like that. He just has too much pride in himself, especially the way like Billings said, with like coming back and like kind of getting what he wants. And like, you know, I call it a swan song, call it like the last dance, but like, you know, this just feels like he's kind of ready to move on, but he's definitely not ready to just lose games and definitely not going to lose games to the Detroit Lions. So I think that he's going to come out and show out for this game. So Cheeseheads, Packers, give it to me.
I'm in agreement. I will have to say Aaron Rodgers' GM move of acquiring Randall Cobb really wasn't a difference maker. Color me surprised. Let's let that guy focus on being a quarterback rather than a GM. Well, I also have the Packers. I'll hand it to Chris to see what he's got.
Packers, but it'll be close enough that we're still going to have lingering questions about this team. So it's going to be, I guess, like a non-moral victory.
Oh, that's pretty good.
A moral victory for the Lions, huh?
Not even that. Like, it's just like it's going to be a game that the Packers are going to walk away from and not feel like comfortable. It's not a game where we're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, like week 1 we can write off. It's going to be like, no, like those questions still very much linger in week 2. And so, like, yeah, like we've seen it. We saw it a couple seasons ago with Aaron Rodgers of like, started out pretty slow and he was Mr. RELAX. And so like, let's see what he does this season. But like, he doesn't have that breathing room like he did that season, that couple seasons ago where he did that. Whereas like, okay, yeah, he's Aaron Rodgers. Like, no, guy made a lot of noise in the offseason. And so like, media is not just going to accept that of just like chill or trust the process. It's like, no, like Tom Brady's still Tom Brady over there. And you guys like aren't showing any like means of you're going to be competitive with them. And like right now, you're not even showing means that you're going to be competitive with the Rams.
Wow.
Truth bombs.
I guess that does wrap up our week 2 picks. Join us next time as we go ahead and break down these week 2 picks and preview week 3. I am Tony Parlay. I will hand this over to Andrew to let us know what to expect.
Oh man, you can expect wild and crazy stories as always. We are getting the new YouTube channel up and running. You can find us on YouTube at the Hate Watchmen. We're gonna have a couple different like Tony said, we're going to be talking football for the NFL season. We also are going to be back on our movies and TV shows, kind of talking what's popular. You know, we were breaking down a lot of Marvel, but I think that we're still going to be able to mix in most of our content together. So stay tuned. Those of you that are tuning in, we very much appreciate the views, and we hope that we're kind of getting somewhat of a flow here, some sort of a show moving forward. But yes, as always, you can find me on the Twitter birds at Goodnight88. I mostly am talking about Magic. I'm sure I'll be tweeting some fantasy news. If one of my players gets hurt, you will definitely hear about it. I will be loud. But other than that, my friend Chris, where can they find you on the Twitter birds?
Find me at Billings Space on the Twitter.
Nice.
Not very fun follow, I'll admit.
gotta pick and choose when you follow Chris. And again, Tony Parlay for the latest and greatest football advice, picks, everything that he's got going on. And then also on the Twitter birds at Tony Parlay Go ahead and check him out. He has a little bit more of an even keel there, so you will not be getting hit with such aggressive takes as the Billings space, but still pretty good follow indeed. And as always, we are the Hate Watchmen, and check us out next week.